My name is Brandon Chrostowski, started EDWINS. A few of you came out to eat last night. Some of you came out Wednesday. Some of you did a tour, and we're thankful for that you were able to come out to check out what we do. I was a young kid, you know, like I'm 46 now, but when I was 18 years old, I wasn't in the right direction. Just, you know, my mother did the best she could, 3 boys, single mom. But, you know, I found trouble, like some of us do, and I found myself arrested, being put in jail and facing 10 years in prison. And, well, I had a great break, okay? I had the first break in my life was a judge granted me probation. All right, this is way back in the day, so I got it. And then the second break was I had a chef who said, you know, it's not practice that makes perfect. It's perfect practice that makes perfect. And I think no matter what we do, no matter what our silo is or our wheelhouse, we have to strive for excellence. We have to be twice as good just to show the world that, you know, we're equal. And so this chef in Detroit really taught me the basics of cooking, fine dining, and I'll shorten the story. I was able to work around the world, man. Paris, New York, it was wonderful. But I kept getting calls from back home in Detroit that someone was being murdered or put in prison, and I said, there's got to be a better way to help the world, and that was to build this idea called EDWINS. Now look, I'm not going to tell you it was easy, right? Having an idea and then making it come to fruition. It took about, you know, 10 years from idea to opening the doors. So what is EDWINS? So EDWINS stands for Education Wins, which is educators. It's probably exciting to you. You like this. And it's really built out of this philosophy that, you know, perfect practice makes perfect. Every human being, regardless of their past, has a right to a fair and equal future. And that if you know, everyone, as some chefs would say, are equal in the eyes of the stove. So EDWINS starts out with this idea that we can teach people. We can teach them the fundamentals of culinary arts and hospitality. And if they can master the fundamentals, they have complete empowerment on where they like to go in their lives and in the world of food and hospitality. So for 6 months, people come to EDWINS. We train them. Now we train them at multiple facilities. So students will work in the bakery for a few weeks, in the butcher shop for a few weeks. They work inside EDWINS for a few weeks, right, with each position. Dining room, kitchen, you name it. And we believe that as you do this, the most important thing isn't nailing your hollandaise. It's not poaching, you know, Dover sole. It's not. It's rehumanization. It's all that humanity that's been stripped away from incarceration or from poverty, from just getting beat the shit out of, right? And like little by little, cut by cut, recipe by recipe, someone really starts to feel like, hold on, I got my swagger. And that's EDWINS, right? And if you were there eating dinner, you were amazing because you contributed to someone's confidence by being served, right? EDWINS is all about these little wins, one after another, after another, after another. But we're also cognizant of the fact that it's tough, right? And so you can't just teach somebody to memorize the grapes of Bordeaux and open a bottle of wine and like life will be good. So we have a lot of hug, you call it a big hug. So we have a campus, we have housing, right? Housing for 50 people, we're filled right now. We have daycare centers, so free childcare. If someone has a child, how do you work and go to school? You have to make decisions sometimes. Do I pay rent or do I watch kid or do I work? I mean, so what we try to do is cover it. And I want to tell you how we cover it. And these are like the bold steps you got to make. First and foremost, we don't take any state or federal funds. The backbone of this is a smart business and hard work, right? State and federal funds are funny, right? You know, from the beginning, you're saying to your constituency that you have to meet some sort of metric that a donation is asking you to make. You see what I mean? I guess I make it simple. We take people who apply to our program. I'm looking for the person who's least likely to succeed our program. Why? Because they need it the most. And if I get somebody for 2 days, it's a fucking win. If I get them for a week, I get them some health insurance, a bank account, some direction, that's a win. And I think we have to stop, first of all, looking at this idea of attrition or dropping out that we didn't affect, we lost. We didn't lose. We didn't lose, we won. Every day someone's with us. Okay? So stop beating yourselves out on this. If you're giving your all, and it doesn't happen the first time. Sometimes it happens the 5th time, or the 6th time. Something eventually clicks, just like you when you were younger, right? It didn't click the first time you were trying to learn something, but the 5th or 6th time, it finally got to you. So we want the person who's gonna really blow it. Why? Because they need it the most. And then we start to wrap this care around you. And we have case management on staff. right? We have the housing portion, right? And 95% of our staff at EDWINS in management are graduates of the program. So that perspective's injected into every move that we make. Someone understands what it's like, therefore that they can help deal with situation or be a little more compassionate. But again, care. If someone drops out of program, right? It's okay. You can come back at some point. If someone's using, that we say that we find out you're a little wonky one day. We ask you to drop. You're using. The first reaction isn't you're out of the program. The first reaction is what can we do better to get you sober? Because no matter what we do, you'll never be a great chef if you're not a great person, healthy first, right? Once you have that baseline, then we can teach you skill to be a great chef. So EDWINS is built on this principle of seeing a problem and then aggressively trying to make it happen. So, for example, the housing we had, 2015, we were open for maybe a year, not even, a year and a half, and there was a gentleman who's sleeping in his car, and then another one who's at the Salvation Army sleeping, and it just didn't seem right. Wasn't right. So the idea came to mind was, how about we build housing? Let's talk about this. What's the first thing you hear when you say something to somebody that's like impossible or sounds impossible? Like, what is the first thing? Bingo, you can't. But why can't you? Which is a basis of what? If no one's done it before, their fear, right? This idea of surrendering to fear is so frustrating. And I don't know where it comes from. Now maybe my frontal lobe wasn't developed, all right? I mean, I've tried to, maybe I see shrink, but this idea of having fear or surrendering to the fear of something, no way, no how, not one day of my life has ever overcame the possibility of making something better for someone. So no matter how much fear there might be in a situation, the idea that you can make the world or someone better always wins. And that's something, if you have people around you, you have a circle around you who are continuing to feed that fear-driven mentality, that surrendering to it, you've got to wake them up. Because you're not going to break through walls if you start to surrender to fear, and it's around every corner. I want you to know that we don't surrender to fear, we believe in what's possible, and that's our motivation. Okay, so building the housing, someone's like, you can't do that. And I said, I've heard this before. And you know what, we're going to do it. So here's a little trick, and we'll give you a little trick. If you guys got boards or like you work in organizations with raise the money first, solidify the deal, and then say, hey, we got the money, we got a deal. What do you want to do? Give the money back? Cancel the deal? 80% of students with children were dropping out of our program. So we build child care center. Free child care, you can drop them off before you come to class, pick them up after school. It works out, right? It's not brain surgery. How do we do this? Well, you raise money, you buy a building, you hire someone who knows child care. I don't know. Another thing I want to talk about, and I feel like it's in the air lately, it's this thing, I don't know, you can say social media is part of it, media in general, but politics. This politics. Where do we lose our way to think that politicians control the good that we do here? When do we lose our way? It's civil society. It's us. It's me. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's you. It's us in this room who change the world. Don't lose sight of this. We're the ones who make the difference. Politicians come by, maybe validate or do whatever, but they're lost. They're lost, okay? But we're not. And so continue to fight that good fight. I hear things about funding being pulled away. Well, let's look for different revenue streams. That's why I'm inviting you today, to think about this idea of social enterprise, of doing good with doing business. Step one is have a business plan. Hey, listen, it's a compass. It gives you an idea of what you're trying to do, a scope, right? The playing field. What is your playing field? You have to know your playing field. Who's your potential threats in your playing field? Who's your ambassadors? Who's your people who can help you in the playing field? But business plan is super, super important. Two, you have to incorporate. You have to make yourself a reality in this world. In the business world, if you don't have a corporation, you don't exist. You're just another person with a dream between their head, walks around, dies one day, okay? So make it a reality. Let it become vulnerable. Become a little insecure and get beat up, okay? The third thing is make sure you have a team. Now people say, I have a team. Yeah, it's me and my cousin. I'm like, that's really good. But dude, who's your insurance guy? Who's going to be your attorney? For us, we have liquor attorney, we have this attorney. I mean, you have to think about your team through and through, because when you start putting the team together, you start to see how vast you have to make your network. You're in this room networking, right? You're going to go to other conferences and network. You're going to go to these chamber of commerce meetings and network. Start thinking about this when you build your team, but you don't have a compass unless you have a business plan. So you can't build a team without having that compass, right? So after that, make sure you have a nice brand that looks nice. And the fifth thing to do is start doing it now. You have to start doing it now. You have to take the leap. You have to take the leap. You have to take the leap. Taking the leap's the hardest part. And everyone thinks it has to be this pretty organization, right? With, I don't know, like you walk into Pottery Barn or something, or Crate and Barrel. Like, listen, life's not like this. You start out in the basement of a church if you have to, right? Start out where you think it is. Start out with one apartment. Can you start out with one apartment? Can you start out with one house? You want to build housing? Can you start out with one? Think about this. Don't think about this grand vision, and if it's incomplete at the beginning that you failed, it's about getting there. And as you get there, little by little, you figure out what to do to make yourself faster, stronger, more efficient, whatever it may be. And the sixth thing is you got to sell it, okay? I'm going to tell you something right now. There's a lot of people out here with money. I just got back. I go to Naples. I fundraise all around the country because I'm always trying to get fundraise. I mean, I asked this one person, I said, listen, we're working on tablets across America, 1,700 institutions we're teaching cooking, right? We have 60,000 graduates, 60,000 graduates. Right now, we're getting people flying here. We're flying them here compliments of the Cleveland Browns. But not everyone can come because of post-release control or family constraints. But if we start writing a life plan, a plan, step by step, for what you need to do when you come home, and where to receive that help from, right? What agency do you go to? And then on top of that, you have a swim buddy we connect you with. We're writing out 2,000 of these plans a month across 49 states. I don't know how Derek's back here. I don't know how he does it. I mean, he's got a small team, but these guys are cranking out direction for people across this country because there's a lack of direction in our prisons. But you know what, though? People care about this. I go to Naples, I said, I need $100,000 because I got to build better software. They said, you know what they do? They give me $100,000, and they apologize because the check took a week to get there. I say, oh my gosh. What I'm trying to say is that part 6 of this is the sell. And if you don't do the first 5 steps, people are going to give you money just because they feel bad for you. I'm not kidding you. They're like lovely people in the world, and they're going to say, here's $500, Timmy. It's a great idea. Go get them. That $500 should have been $5,000. Listen, it should have been $5,000 because you know why? When you look at your plan, you say, listen, I'm doing it now, and I'm doing it for $1,000, and I'm helping 10 people, and if you can give me $5,000, that means I can help 50 people, and you show them the nuts and bolts, you show them your incorporation, you show them all the structure that you have, your money is going to come back, 5 or 10-fold. I'm inviting you today to say, let's go on a journey, let's take a leap. Let's just like your wildest dream and go out there and jump. And if you have your foundation, you're set up, your first leap might be writing a business plan. That's still a leap. Don't think of this like Americans. You're not Americans. You're smarter. Think like this. If you got to quit smoking in Europe, you don't just throw it and stop quit smoking. You smoke 1 less cigarette a day. After a month, you know what? You're done. Or maybe you just do 1 casually. That's a huge victory. So let's start making a difference by starting tomorrow. You know what? Starting today. You got flights. You can start to scribble it on paper. You can start thinking of a connection. But making that stride today, you got a force of 1,200 strong right now, and maybe 1,300, 1,400 next year, all doing something, making 1 step better for someone else each day. How much can we move? Right? There's nothing about government here. Civil society, it's us in this room. We make it happen. We make the difference. So I invite you to help make this change. Whether it's social enterprise, whether it's your enterprise, you're the ones that make this different, okay? So let's get out of this place. Make a difference, okay? She's going to tell you the conference is over. I'm going to tell you your conference just begun. Your conference just begun.